Hey, hey, what's up? This is part three of this holiday movie week in New York. I'm in Brooklyn now. At 12 o'clock, I'm going to see Nosferatu at Brooklyn Academy of Music. That should be good. I'm guessing, based on the thrush of interviews and stuff that's out there, movie trailers. So yeah, this is just me before the film, and just thinking about the two movies that I have seen, The Brutalist and A Real Pain, and how they they parallel each other in certain ways. They have dialogue with each other in terms of really the Jewish experience in America or for Americans. And okay, so the Brutalist, yeah, it's a well crafted film for sure, but I think if I want to compare the two films, A Real Pain and The Brutalist, and why I enjoyed A Real Pain immensely more is because it comes from like a personal place. It comes from a lived experience. It comes from listening. It comes from, I made the point of like, well, I don't think Brady Corbett's experience has life experience has anything to do with his film, because he spent so much of it, I'm assuming, on film sets, and the movie itself is about filmmaking. We need another one of those, and yet he said in interviews that he's got an uncle who was an architect, and his wife's grandfather was an architect, or something like that in Norway. Okay, there's some relatability there, but everything he's doing in that film is just, he's not Jewish. He's why, not to say that you can't empathize and put yourself in somebody else's shoes and look through somebody else's eyes, to write about a different culture, a different character, a different, all that. But you got to be good at it. You got to be yeah, you got to be a great writer, and Jesse Eisenberg is a great writer, and the difference between those two films and why I liked Real Pain more was because it was from Jesse Eisenberg's past experience, and his grandmother was Polish, and I believe she survived the camps, and it a lot of it's based in truth, and a lot of what happens in the film is based in truth, in terms of the characters visiting their grandmother's house in Poland. That's his grandmother's. I think that's his grandmother's actual house that she lived in. So, yeah, it all felt real, and it all felt believable because he knows that culture. And Brady Corbet doesn't. Anyway, those are my brief thoughts on those two films before I see Nosferatu today. And I'll do a quick dissolve to me afterwards. Thanks. Okay, so I just got out of Nosferatu. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's beautiful. It's dark and creepy. But I'll be fucking honest, I was bored. I was bored. I was bored. Suffice to say, I'm not a huge Robert Eggers fan to begin with. His movies are fucking boring to me. They're technically impressive. The Northman was a piece of shit, and The Lighthouse, that's its own that's its own murky creation, which is forgettable for me. The Witch, I don't even really remember that movie. But it's not to detract that this is a really well crafted film. So yeah, I was at Brooklyn Academy of Music noon showing. It was good to see that the theater was about 80% full. A lot of when there were jump scares, everybody jumped. So that's was successful. Everybody was into it. You could really tell the people that were there in the audience were there for this tone. Lots of black, a lot of black. People wearing black and people, whatever. That's a stupid observation. No, I mean it was scary at parts. When I got out of the theater, it was good to see. It was in the auditorium in the lobby. There were lots of the queues were lined up. People waiting to see all these movies, and it's a really fucking beautiful thing to see. People on Christmas Day going to the movies. That's what you want to fucking see, right? Yeah. But this film, I mean, it's. I hate to say that it's forgettable, but. The guy doesn't know how to move his camera. He doesn't move. Who am I to judge, right? I'm not making movies on this scale. But I was yawning. And his movies, they're not dynamic enough for me to keep my attention. And at a certain point, I kind of forgot what movie I was watching. The first 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, is really. It's got a thrust to it. It's got a. It's the Dracula story. So the British guy Nicholas Hoult goes to Count Orlok's castle to have him sign papers over for a deed and all this stuff, and his wife is possessed, and I always say Lily Rose Depp is probably the best thing about the film. She's in a movie all her own. She's possessed in this movie, and it's a tremendous performance, and she's lithe, and she's slimy, and she's erotic, and she's fragile, and she's deadly. She's all these different things in this film, and that's I enjoyed her performance, but yeah, it should have been. It just wasn't. I don't know. I don't think I've seen it. I'm always disappointed by these films and by by contemporary filmmakers, by people my age and my generation. Willem Dafoe is just doing his thing. I think, and even though this takes place in Germany, they're all British actors, which that's what are you going to do? But Robert Eggers should probably just keep to, the 19th century English diction for any of his films, because that's what he thrives in, writing, is antiquated language. So it's time right now is 10 minutes to 3. So I'm going to go back at like 5, I guess, a couple hours to see Baby Girl. I overheard people in the audience saying that they were doing the same double feature today. They were going to see Baby Girl and then see Nosferatu, or vice versa. I don't know. I just want to see more movies. There's a wide variety out there, and I liked Bodies, so I'll check that out and talk to you later for part 4.